Hey everybody, this is your instructor Dylan. You guys are working on Chapter 1 material this week on the discussion board. So you're providing headlines and bare bones paraphrases and you're identifying categories of padding. I found this example over the summer. I like the example. I figured at some point I'd incorporate it into the course. But what I figured I'd do now is just I haven't really done it systematically yet. I haven't really worked through giving it a headline or bare bones paraphrase yet on my own. So what I figured I'd do is run through a video of this, and you can sort of see how I do it, and I'll sort of try to talk out loud what my thought process is as I'm providing my own answers here. So what you'll probably want to do is just read through the article on your own. You can just hit pause. I post these videos to YouTube. There should be like a little gearbox or something down here on the right, which could make the video a better quality. I'll post it in high definition. So if it's not legible, you can fix that and make it a little clearer. So when you're done reading the article, we'll just unpause it and we'll go on to the next step, and I'll start talking about headlines and bare bones paraphrases. So read through the article. Okay, so let's start looking at a headline, headline options. The first thing that came to mind when I read the article was something like, market receives drugs instead of bananas. That's not bad. It does sort of summarize the main point of the article, but remember, headlines need to be 4 words or less, so this one's not going to work. The other thing is that you're going to want to try to get as much information into that headline as possible. Really do your best to summarize as much of the main point of the article as you can. So if you have 4 words, use all of them, right? So your headline probably won't be less than 4. It'll probably be 4 exactly. The next option I thought of was something like this: supermarket, drugs not bananas. Well, that's 4 words. Remember, your headline doesn't have to be grammatically correct, so this one certainly isn't, but it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it really is getting the point of the story, right? It's kind of confusing. So if somebody didn't know the story, they'd look at this and still not know what's going on. So I think this is a little better one. This is kind of where my thought process is now. Maybe as I work through this example again, maybe next semester or something, I'll come up with an even better one. But there we go. Cocaine shipment to shipped to supermarket. I think this is a better one. Of the 3 here, I really do think this one is vastly superior. I'm not 100% happy with it. I think maybe I could try to, or you guys maybe could do it for me. Maybe post it to the feedback forum, come up with a better headline, but I think that's pretty good so far. Okay, what about a bare bones paraphrase? What I've done is I've supplied 2 here. I think they're both pretty decent. Employees at a Danish supermarket discovered what is believed to be cocaine in boxes of bananas. Pretty good. I actually think this one's pretty good. Perfectly acceptable, full credit if this were on an exam. The second one's in the same vein. A powder believed to be cocaine was discovered in boxes of bananas shipped to a Danish supermarket from a supplier in Colombia. It's got a little bit more information in there. The sentence is a little longer, but I don't think it's too long. I think it works perfectly well. What I want to do now is go back to the article, and I want to just kind of highlight some things that would be considered padding. Okay, so let's just go through this and see what kind of padding we can find. The fact that it was posted by the Associated Press, or that it was reported ultimately by the Miami Herald, and all this information down here, all of that, as it turns out, would be setting. There's a great example of frills in this article. Drug traffickers back in Colombia must be going bananas over how their shipment ended up at supermarkets, not on the streets. Great example of frills. The name of the supermarket chain, Coop, I love that name, by the way. The weight of the cocaine, 100 kilos, which is 220 pounds. That would be dispensable detail, because that's really a part of the story itself. It's just more details about what was actually found. Where it was discovered in this particular town in western Denmark, that would be setting. That some of the boxes were heavier than others would be dispensable detail. The name of the spokesperson, this guy Jens, that would be setting as well, because that's just kind of who's reporting the information, how we're getting it. Now these last 2 sentences here, I would consider them to be background. So the difference between background and dispensable detail is this. Dispensable detail is like the main action of the story. It's like the reason why the reporter is reporting the story. It's like why it's interesting. In this case, the action of the story, the main point is these employees discovering cocaine, or what is believed to be cocaine, in what were supposed to be boxes of bananas, right? But in this case, the fact that the company has contacted the supplier, like that's not a part of the story, but it's sort of it's marginalized in the story. It's kind of what makes it interesting. It frames the story. And the fact that police are investigating and haven't made any arrests yet, that would all be considered background. Oh, it's borderline, maybe dispensable detail, but I think it's really better as background. Well, okay, that's it. Boy, I hope that helped. I'll see you online.